Wear the mask. Oh, wear the mask to your intimate partner, mask. Hello, my name's Chris Quinlan, Melbourne Musos, Facechook live. As I said, my name's Chris Quinlan. Welcome to Melbourne Musos, Facechook live. Cook, mate, cook. Hey, I got a new camera. Hey, 1, 2, where are we at? 1, 2, 3, and there's a 4. So, 4! How are you? That's actually camera 2. Hello, camera 2, how are you? Hey, well, here we are. We're allowed out a little bit more. How's everyone tonight? Ooh, what a week. Oh, let me get it. Hey, I'd like to talk a little about jazz tonight, and I've been doing it with my students over the last week or two, some of my more advanced ones. And what it is I'd just like to take you through a few jazz arrangements and stuff. So what happens? We might have my satin gold, A section again, my satin gold, B section, A section again, hey! I've left my triggers on for that. I have. There was a drummer that I dearly loved, Bennick. Okay. Now, I got into a thing called the avant-garde. Free jazz. Mostly because we played it for free. And the vinyl we used to get and swap and all that. Bennick did an album with a very little known trumpet player by the name of Marion Brown. And he was terrific. And the sound that he got from that album is amazing. It's so big and broad. It was like, like when you're listening to a jazz group, it's usually small, like 18-inch bass drum, like over there, and all this sort of stuff. My beloved Rosewood kit over there is now 40-something years old, and that's my jazz kit with the 18-inch, and over there's the 22-inch when I'm playing rock. There's the 18-inch for jazz, that kind of. I like deJohnette. And but not Haynes Bennick. What he did was use this big 24 or 26, and it was like bombs. When I was coming up and studying it all, it was like Art Blakey bombs. You'd be going, boom, boom, bang, 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 bang. Oh, so bombastic. I had a bombasm in my pants, I gotta tell you. And what Haynes Bennick was also famous for was playing with blocks of cheese. Now what I'll do is go through a jazz arrangement with you. Now I just did a bit of a quicker version of Satin Doll. It's usually a bit slower. Hey, can I buy us a drink? Larry Lounge Lizard, yeah. I'll be very discreet. That's actually true. There's a story to that. But what it is you take the song. Now, when you do it, it's about a minute. Okay, so it's one of the shortest jazz songs in history if you just want to do the head, the main melody. So what happens is, let me take you through a typical jazz arrangement. Now, all of this is subject to change, right? So what happens is that you could be playing, and then, you play the head. I'll take you through it. You might have... main head. Now I'm sort of warbling through a song that's in standard song format, which is A, B, A. Change up for the B section. That's why I dropped that camera there for these cymbals, yeah. Then you're out. And then maybe what would happen is your saxophone player takes it for 2 rounds of solo. Now, the jazz term for it is take it out a bit. So now I'm being very bombastic. And then what you do is, after, I'll stop there for a bit, but what would happen is that if you've had the saxophone wobble on through all that, and then what would happen perhaps is the trumpet player would come in and you get the call to say maybe play a bit straighter. So that was pretty out there and like that sort of thing, but you might go a bit... bit straight, Then piano solo, and the term for that would be bring it down a bit. So because what happens is a piano has limitations. Man's guts to know his limitations, but what would happen is if it's an acoustic piano, it just, you can really have a crack with the saxophone, you can have a crack with the trumpet, but a piano is a little bit under. So you bring it... like that. See, we get that kind of thing happening. And then after that, it may be down to the rhythm section. So you might have the double bass. I played with a dirty bastard, I'm calling him about 40 years ago. And, one of the insults was just bullshit around on the cymbals a little bit. And I went, so I bullshit around on the cymbal, mate. Bit cooked, mate. It's cooked. You're a bit cooked, mate. Cooked! All that business. Oh, a beautiful, expensive piece of tin. And there you go. Then, when you've got the double bass player finishing his solo, sometimes, not all the time, but you might go into trading fours. Now what that means is that when you're playing, you might play 4 bars of a solo, saxophone perhaps, then it's 4 bars of a drum solo. That might be trumpet. Toms maybe. Piano. Bring in the cymbals. And cue the rest of the band. Back to the head. There you go. And then double bass drum finish in the little jazz lounge. Yes, and they all lived happily ever after. There you go. Now what I've done there is given you a cockamamie way of taking a jazz tune and turning it into a wondrous exploration, okay, of what you can do with the particular tune. And I've sort of, warbled around with Satin Doll a little bit, that kind of thing. But what I'd love you to do is go off and just have a listen to it in action. And of course, when you're dealing with jazz, you've got all your eras and all that stuff. But what I'd like to do now is actually talk about a bit of a funny story and then going, taking you into it a little bit more. Now, what happens, or what happened with it, I was telling one of my students, go off and listen to Miles Davis's great quintets. He had two of them. And I mentioned, I'll put it up here like I usually do, and it was Miles Davis's Milestones album, and in the mid-50s. And Straight No Chaser and some of the old classics, and Philly Joe Jones on drums, not to be confused with Papa Joe Jones, and that's what it was. And there you go, and there was that. And my student came back and said, wow, they're fast. Oh, my hand. And yeah, they are. That's the first great quintet. And that was went on, that was then, and then that was the mid-50s. And then you had Kind of Blue, and I've done that last year. And that was terrific. That's a classic. It's probably one of the most famous jazz albums in jazz land, that kind of thing. But I was talking about milestones. And there was that. And then I said, well, Miles Davis' second great quintet was in the 60s, and it had Tony Williams on drums. Oh, one of my favourites. And did you know, but I'll get to it, did you know that Zildjian asked for his cymbals back? Because he had the unmistakable, sound like rain, and they were Zildjian Ks, and they asked, look, we'll give you the world, but we need your cymbals as a template, because that's what we want to have the new K range sounding like. And he's gone, there you go, and thank you very much, umpire. Got anything you wanted? Fantastic. There's a beautiful cymbal sound, which I'm going to talk about a bit because of that. And what goes on is that was incredibly fast too. And what you have is Miles Davis on trumpet, Wayne Shorter on sax. You've got Herbie Hancock on piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Tony Williams. And man, oh man, what a band they were. So I was talking to my student about those two great quintets. Now, of course, how can I cover the world of jazz in 25 minutes, a Channel 31 half hour? And so that's just a start. And so I've talked about the jazz arrangements, right? Now, when you're dealing with the terms like keeping it straight, when you take it out of it, Elvin Jones with John Coltrane. Swirling triplets everywhere. All that stuff. And then bring it back down. And then right down. Maybe even go to brushes. I did whip them out so you could get that kind of... Great for double bass. No more bullshitting around on cymbal. People you meet, eh? Keeping my triggers on the whole time. There you go. So you might go to the brushes for the double bass. And there's that. Now, when you're doing trading fours, I'll talk about that a little bit very quickly. I've got a couple of things I want to do about this. When you're doing trading fours, what it is when you're dealing with a typical standard song, say a jazz classic like Satin Doll, it's a 32-bar song, so you've got 4 lots of 8 bars, right? And what you've got is 2 sections, an A section and a B section. And a standard song is usually A, B, A, but it's 32 bars. So with trading fours, what generally happens is that you go through the form of the song, but you're trading 4 bars doing a solo. It's often the case that all the soloists of the band, sax, trumpet, piano, will go through that, or it might be just one guy, whatever it might be, and you're just doing a, to and fro, like a John Coltrane and Elvin Jones or something. Man, oh man, some of the stuff they got up to. And then what would happen is that you go through it, but you just don't go sick mate fully on every 4 bars. You don't throw in your like oh sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. I got carried away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1. What am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, go. Not really. So what you do is you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, maybe snare. Something appropriate to the song. While everyone else in tom-toms, mate. Cymbals. And last one. And bring the band back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, down. Thank you very much. We'll be back after the break. Okay. Thank you. There you are. All right. With the Duke Ellington set. There you go. That kind of thing there. And so that's what goes on. You see, that's your trading fours. Now, when you're actually going through those sections, I'm going to take you through the cymbals on the right-hand side here. I've got 3 ride cymbals that I've set up for you. But what happens is you get a nuance from just one cymbal that you love and adore. But what I'm going to do here for purposes of demonstration with my dear Doris here is exactly this. I'm going to show you a couple of cymbals. So what goes on is I tend to mix the 2 up, but at the moment on my right hand cymbal, my main man, is a Byzance raw bell ride, which is a little bit on the dry side. It's dark, right? So what you've got there is you go. Very nice. You've got 3 surfaces, you see. You've got the bell. You've got the riding area. Okay. Yeah. I tell most of my students, play the M, or if it's Zildjian, play the Z. There's got to be kind of a landmark there. Play that. Because often what happens, when you're getting started, no, use your tip. Just the tip, mate, the tip. Otherwise you're cooked, mate, cooked. Cooked, mate. There it is. There's your sound, right? Very versatile. This particular one's a 20-inch. I've got over there a beautiful Peisty Formula 602 original, not the rehashed one, and actually an original, and it's gorgeous, and it's a 22. And one of my favourite jazz drummers is Paul Merchan, and Paul Merchan, had quite the surprise. That's his main cymbal. It's a 22-inch Formula 602 dark ride. I'm going, I've got that one, and it's an acquired taste, but it's gorgeous. And what goes on is that, I said, why would you need such a big cymbal? And the thing about it is, it's too loud. No, just play it softer. I have some students online, and they start off going, and I go, no, just play soft. You're learning it. Wait till later because you freak out the microphone. So it's taste. But what happens is when you've got a versatile cymbal, you can do anything you want with it. Okay, so that's the Meinl Raw Bell Ride. Over here, the Sand series, Meinl's Byzance, the Benny Greb, a little bit more ringy. They're a beautiful little set of partners. For a couple of years, it's only recently that I've done this. That was my main one, and this was over here. But I'm really liking my 20-inch crash cymbal with the Bunnings hanging pot plant, so it's just, thank you, off the cliff, mate. So when I'm doing that one, can you see? It's very versatile. But this one, the pièce de résistance, is the 22-inch crash. Who's ever heard of a 22-inch crash until just recently? And with the rivets, this is once again the Sand series. Oh! And one of the beautiful things about that is that you've got tones. You think of it like B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Did I just do the cycle of fifths, Chris? God help me. So you can embellish a melody by bringing in certain tones of the cymbal. You see, so there's that. Now, I'll talk a little bit technical. I have to use my hands. What you've got is the wash of the cymbal. So, obviously the 22 inch is just wash. That's what you buy it for. Oh, as soon as I hit that. Danny Balderston, hello, mate, when you were with Daddario. I just hit that, and he said, check this out. And I hit it, and I went, I'm taking that home. And so I did. So, beautiful wash. Bombastic! I have a bombasm with playing that one. And what happens is you got the wash, and then when you're tapping, there's the ping. All right? There's the actual note. So let's talk about dots. I'm going to draw it in the air here. You got the ping, and there's the wash, but with the 22 inch, the wash just takes over. So it is just, and that's what you pay for. You can hear the money. Okay, there's that kind of thing. However, if you're going to bring it down and all that, you might want a drier cymbal. Okay, so there's this one here. And what happens when you're doing this? Now for that one, what happens is there's the ping, but the wash is a lot underneath, you see. There's that. Let's put the ping at, say, 5 on a thing of 1 to 10, right? Now with the Benny Greb, the Crash Ride 22 inch, you've got your ping at 5, and the wash is like about 7 or 8, like that. But what happens is that with the dry, it's the other way around. You might have the ping at 5, and the wash is down at 3, that kind of thing. And then what happens is that, you can pick your cymbals depending on what you want to do. And when you're talking about the 20-inch Sand here, what you've got is, you can hear it. You can hear the wash closer to the ping. Now if I play on the edge, ping goes away. Cooked, mate! Chris Enderby sent me a photo of that beautiful lady this morning. Cheerio. Yeah. Cooked. Bombastic. There you go. There you have it. So what happens is that there's a little bit of an idea of how you can choose your ride cymbals and all that. And one last tip before I talk about this, or before I move on, and I'm already behind, but I love doing what I do. I'll get it all happening. But I've got a couple of more things, and I'm going to talk about them. What happens is that with a cymbal, if there's any kind of tip I can give you if you're going to do various things, you know, like you might do the little coffee lounge jazz gig or something like that, and then you got a cover band gig, and then you got the wedding reception, and then you're doing this, and then you do the door take. Oh, I brought it up, oh my God. Yeah, cooked. And what happens though is my recommendation would be perhaps to buy a cymbal or get a cymbal that's a little bit more ringy, because what happens is you might be playing in a club, sounds beautiful at sound check, people come in and all of a sudden everything goes a bit dead because the people that are coming in at quarter density, what happens is that as the people come in, they are sound insulation. So what often happens is that you might grab yourself some cymbal magnets, mate. Okay, and what happens with the cymbal magnets, I've got that, hear the ring, and then what happens is if I put this up, oh boy, logistical drama here, Chris. Boy, what happens is there's the sound, and it's perfect for what you need with all the different gigs and stuff. But then you get a small coffee lounge. Got to bring it down there, fellas, and all that. So you put your cymbal magnets there, one above, one below. And, you know, the different companies sell them, you know, for $35 or whatever. But Bunnings fridge magnets, mate. $12 for 10. Cooked, mate. Have a listen. Dryer. Bang. Beautiful. Sneaky. So that's it is. Fridge magnet. There you go. Got the picture? So that's what happens there. So bang, you've got a new cymbal, you know. And also with that, what happens is that you have 3 speeds, you know, that kind of thing. If you're going to play a slow jazz beat, most people think it's jazz as triplets, like 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Now, if we're going from 1 to 10 again, you know, from speed, like dead slow, you know, like a dead slow jazz ballad, or you're going for super fast, like, you know, Miles Davis Milestones, or better still, Jack DeJohnette on albums like Bennick with the, oh my God, fast. And he used a flat ride, no bell, so the wash just stayed the same. It's brilliant. I first, who remembers Roy Burns with Rogers coming out for one of the first drum clinics in Camberwell Civic Centre in around about 1975 or something? My old teacher, Harold, said, "You've got to go to that." "Nah, you're going to that one, son." And I went. I had my little tiny 15-year-old drumming mind blown. Whoa! I went home, I was depressed. I was cooked. Cooked, mate. So what happens is that he brought out a flat ride and the whole room went, ooh-ah. More things to spend money on, ooh-ah. And he just went, da-da-da-da-da-da, and it just stayed there like that, beautiful. And Jack DeJohnette did it with, you know, developed that throughout the 70s, and it was just called the ECM sound, ECM Records, with Manfred Aker. And it was just endless. And the album, Batik, with Ralph Towner and Eddie Gomez. Oh man, what an album that is, beautiful. And there you have it. I have mentioned it before, but it's a great example of fast jazz playing. Now what happens is when we're doing slow, medium and fast, as I said, when you're talking about speed, slow to fast like that, triplets would be about there to there if you want to, that kind of thing. I have heard people say, oh, it's all just triplets. And I'm going, bullshit, you're cooked, mate. So what happens is, you got 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2. Oh, something like that, you see, you build it up. If you're doing it dead slow, if you're trying to do 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1, that's fine. You've got to be fairly specific. But when you're listening to people like Roy Haynes and people like that, when you're really sitting down having a listen to some of their stuff, Jimmy Cobb, who I talked about last year, God rest his soul, because he passed away. It was one of those tribute shows that they just seem to go thick and fast, and so everyone's dropping off the perch. But you're hearing semiquavers, so more like 1-y and a 2-y and a 3 and a 4-y and a 1-y and a 2-y and a 3-y and a 4. If it's dead slow, you could even go to 30-second notes. 1-y and a 2-y and a 3 and a 4-y and a 1-y and a 2-y and a 3 and a 4. And then as you get quicker, so you're going from, I've started in the middle and I've gone down dead slow. But as you build it up, so they're triplets, right? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Look, they're not triplets anymore. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 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 1. Now as you build that up, you can end up just having one movement of your wrist to create a triple tap. And then what starts to happen is it's a little bit of an approximation, but it's almost like you're doing a single stroke. If you want to put the hi-hat in on 2 and 4, what you can start to do is that you have a single stroke roll between your right hand and your hi-hat. So it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah? Get it up. It's all got to do with the fulcrum, mate, the fulcrum. If you don't use the fulcrum, you know what you are? Cooked! How many people have I lost so far? Hello, audience. Hello, Andrew Marshall. How are you? You're my audience. So you can get that, that kind of thing. But when you're starting to get in... And take it to a spin. Oh, bombastic. Han Bennick, I love you. Okay, create your own thing, man. Okay. There it is. Oh, there you go. There it is. So I've gone through that. I've gone through Jack deJohnette. I've gone through cymbals, ping and wash, and I'm way over time. I'm already 9 minutes over. So this is going to be a whole extra segment when I put it on YouTube. What's the deal with YouTube? You make a link to Facechookeries, and it's just a blank screen. What's that, kind of a censorship thing, is it? It doesn't happen all the time. But I'm going, what did I do wrong? I didn't say any naughty words. I didn't use a swear jar. I didn't do this. Anything like that, blank screen. What's going on? By degrees, mate. So what goes on? While we're talking about that, of course, I'm going to talk about beloved Channel 31, because we're down to weeks again. I'm recording this on the 11th of June, and yet again, of course, every year now, and it's just ridiculous. It's just dogma, as I put up in a little essay last night. And it's just dogma. And the funny thing about Channel 31 It's not loony lefty. You got things that are extreme right. I'm going, really? Did he say that? You know, that kind of, oh man, you know. And, you know, it's sort of bashing the bush with dignity, you know, that kind of thing. Shooting the shit out of the forest and all the little animals within with dignity. Hey, it's cooked! Cooked! Missed that bloody. Thank you. Anyway. We've got to get up. Also, I'm not really going to make too much of a joke about this, but you sort of know that I really try and keep a smile on my puss as much as I can. But when the music, I'm going to lose people here, but every time one mentions a union, but when you've got the musicians union handing out food parcels to musicians, and all the COVID grants are going to the venues who put on door takes, and now it's got to the point where they want to dip into the door take as per union documentation. That's cooked, okay? That's really cooked. That's below the belt, trickle down bullshit stuff, right? Bullshit! You can't expect musicians on food parcels to still play for free. Come on, give me a break, you know. And that's something that needs fixing straight away. There's a venue that actually put up a post last night that even though we're opened up, density limits, that kind of stuff, 25k now instead of the 10, 5, 10, 25. What goes on is it's not viable. But this isn't a rant about that, because the thing is, it is a global pandemic. What I'm getting at is you just have to change the way we do things, because it's not going to go away, and that's what goes on. There's my rant. I'll talk about that more in another forum, if you will. I don't want to bring you down. So I hope you got something out of this show. It's sort of ironic, me talking about free on a place like community TV. But the thing is, it is community. There's a difference, okay? Promised bucks, don't get them. But when you go in knowing exactly what's going on, that's a bit of a different thing. And when you do it from, you know, community, that's a whole other business, isn't it? You know, got to look out for each other. I'm going to move right on now. I really like these stories, whether they're Carl Karma, the musical detective, Magda Williams, hello, I hope you're watching. Last year, detective stories. I was helping my friend Ali Lee do a bit of moving of stuff, having a clean out. And I said, no, I'm keeping these books. I can see possibilities with these books. And they're the books that Ali used to read to her kids 20 years ago. Mate! So this is another installment of the adventures of our Winnie the Pooh in lockdown. Here we go. Let me find it for you. I think we're off. Hang on, we're off. Hey! Don't talk to strangers, Pooh! One fine day, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet were sitting together in their thoughtful spot with their phones, typing shit on Facebook. And when they happened to look up, Christopher Robin was walking down the path. "Where are you going?" asked Pooh. "I'm going to my intimate partner's place for supper," said Christopher Robin. You're going out of the 10k limit by yourself?" asked Piglet. "Oh, my
My mum and dad say I'm big enough now. I know I can do it, said Christopher Robin. Plus, we can go to the 25k limit now. So there. Piglet's ears twitched so hard he had to pull them on to make them stop. Is it safe? Sure, said Christopher Robin, and it feels great to go out on your own sometimes. Not scary, asked Piglet. It was a little at first, said Christopher Robin, but my intimate partner wrote down the stay safe rules for me. Once you know them, being on your own isn't scary at all. Can we learn the stay safe rules? Asked Pooh. Maybe you can, Pooh, said Piglet, but it's too hard for a very small animal like me to stay safe. You are small, Christopher Robin said, but you can learn to stay safe too. The most important thing to remember is don't ever talk to strangers on Facechook. You mean people who look strange? Asked Pooh. Silly old bear, said Christopher Robin. A stranger is someone you don't know. I do know Piglet, said Pooh, and Piglet knows me. Right, said Christopher Robin, and we all know Tigger, Owl, Rabbit, Gopher, Kanga, and Roo. And Eeyore, said Piglet. And Eeyore, added Christopher Robin. They're not strangers, they're our little jazz clique, and they're the only people we give gigs to. Why can't we talk to people we don't know, asked Piglet. Are they dangerous? Outside the 25k limit, there are many people, said Christopher Robin. Hundreds, asked Pooh. Thousands and thousands, said Christopher Robin. Most strangers are nice, but a few aren't. How can we tell who's not nice, asked Pooh. We can't tell the difference between a good stranger and a bad stranger just by looking, said Christopher Robin. So we should never talk to any strangers. That doesn't sound very friendly, said Pooh. You can always be friendly with your friends, said Christopher Robin, your little jazz clique. It's nice to be friendly with friends, smiled Piglet. Yes, Christopher Robin, but you should never be friendly with strangers, especially on Facebook. Never, muttered Pooh thoughtfully. We can talk more later, said Christopher Robin, hurrying off. I don't want to be late for supper with my intimate partner. Well, the word supper reminded Pooh that he did not want to be late for his supper either. So he invited Piglet over for a slab of honey because Piglet made Pooh his bubble buddy. Pooh was just beginning his third slab of honey when Piglet looked up and asked, Mate, is it cooked? And Pooh said, Yeah, mate, cooked, mate, cooked, mate, cooked. Settle down and have another slab of honey. It's cooked. Then suddenly, what was that? Asked Piglet. That's exactly what I was wondering, said Pooh. Oh, Pooh, said Piglet, do you think it's a stranger? It may be, said Pooh. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. Tap, 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 when the noise. Tap, 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 when the noise. I think it's someone knocking at the door, said Piglet. Is that you, Tigger? Called Pooh. But it wasn't. Come in, Rabbit, he said. But Rabbit didn't. What if it's just someone with a little slab of honey for us? Asked Pooh. He started to open the door. No! Cried Piglet. What if it's someone we don't know? Remember what Christopher Robin said. No! Piglet pushed a chair over to Pooh's window. He stood on tiptoe and peeked out. It's a very strange animal, cried Piglet, with shiny yellow head and big round eyes. Pooh looked too. Oh my God! It's a COVID denier! Oh my God! He's inside the 25k limit! Hey! We're cooked, mate! Cooked! The strange animal was hammering nails into a small board. Pooh started to giggle. He certainly looked strange. Oh, I had another look. He's not a COVID denier. That's Gopher. I forgot that I asked him to come over and fix my sign. All fixed, whistled Gopher as Pooh opened the door. Thank you, Gopher, said Pooh. Won't you come in for a cup of tea? I could certainly use a sip, said Gopher, pulling off his hard hat and goggles and mask and wiping his brow.
Pooh had just set out the teapot when they heard another knocking.
Who is it? Called Pooh. It's me, Christopher Robin. Pooh opened the door. Pooh, you really are a very clever bear, said Christopher Robin. I am, asked Pooh. What did I do? You've learned another of the stay safe rules all by yourself, said Christopher Robin. Always make sure you know the person at your door before you open it. I had a little help from my friend Piglet, said Pooh. Piglet smiled proudly. My intimate partner gave me a bag of hash cookies to share with my friends, said Christopher Robin. Just in time for tea, said Gopher. Said Piglet. Your intimate partner makes yummy cookies. Okay. The best in the world, said Christopher Robin. Okay. Can we have more tomorrow? I've got the munchies now, said Pooh. Now that you know the stay safe rules, said Christopher Robin, you can come along to my intimate partner's house and we can ask together.
As long as you put a sticker on your liquor.
The end. Christopher Robin's stay safe rules. Don't talk to dickheads on Facebook. Never open your Facebook page to a stranger. Never take a hash cookie from a stranger. Never go along with a COVID ride up to Queensland with a stranger. If a stranger does try to talk to you or touch you, yell, "No!" Run away and tell a grown-up you trust as soon as you can. Don't touch my drums! And remember, if you're going somewhere, it's always friendly and safer to go with your intimate partner. The end.
It's cooked, mate! Cooked! That should sort out some of my new friends on Facechookeries. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. I'll have this up tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed it. And for all of my new friends, if you've suddenly ran out of the room and pressed the unfriend button, it was very nice to know you. I hope you were all real. Mate! I love doing these. I adore them. Okay, here we are. I'll have this up, as I said, tomorrow. My name's Chris Quinlan, Melbourne Musos, Facechook Live. And it will be on beloved Channel 31, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. The abridged version, because I've got all but an hour now, so I'll probably have 2 episodes perhaps. But on the YouTubes tomorrow. And I've got my work cut out for me tonight. Anyway, take care. It's cooked, mate. I'm out of here. Hey. Oh. Ho, ho, ho. Mwah. Cooked. Hey. Ha, ha, ha. Oh. Oh. What a show. All right. It's cooked, mate. Cooked!